Time is 12:08, close up. Department reports, 3.1, Police Department monthly activity report. Chief Bradley.
Good afternoon. It was a slow month for us last month. We've been effectively running with 2 police officers and 2 command staff due to shortages and sicknesses, stuff like that. But overall, call volume is up a little bit. We ran 376 total calls, which is up from last month, or the month before that, which is 300. I don't know if it's good or bad. We had 0 arrests, no DWIs. Hopefully people are being good. From last month we had 4 traffic stops are down a little bit. We had a total of 75 with 77 warnings and 25 citations. Other than that, things are going well.
.11, the racial profiling report.
Yeah, I just need to get that voted on so I can get it sent over to the state.
And that's something we gotta do every year, mandatory.
Yes.
We have it.
It doesn't have for approval, so you're just gonna provide them with the report saying that you gave it to them?
Yeah.
Because it's not an action item.
It just has to be presented to the city. That way I can say I did and get it reported to the state before the 90-day deadline.
All right, thank you. 3.2, code enforcement monthly activity. Ted?
Afternoon. Well, this last month we had 9 rubbish in yards calls and 5 of them resolved. We had 1 non-running vehicle, which we also had 1 resolved. I had 3 no building permits, and 2 of those were resolved. 2 unsafe buildings. At that time we had 0 resolved. Animal control items, we had 7 of them, and all 7 were resolved. At this time, last month I didn't have to take any dogs to the hill country.
Thank you. 3.3, municipal court report and monthly activity. Georgina?
For the month of January 2026, there was $10,374.87 collected in fines. There were 33 new cases, 44 cases disposed of, 12 new warrants, 26 warrants closed, 8 show cause hearings, and 4 pretrial hearings in January.
3.4, development report monthly activity.
It looks like there was 1 permit issued by Bureau Veritas that was just an old pending one. They had a valuation of $5,000 for a property on North Range. They performed 110 inspections. And then the permit report from our current provider, which is AOCA, said there was 36 permits issued and they did 15, looks like virtual inspections.
Are we done with all of Bureau's inspections?
No, they still have property that they're gonna continue to inspect until CO is issued.
Okay, thank you.
So they had quite a bit of permits still. They're still building homes,
Gotcha.
so.
3.41, utility engineering group, PLLC. Gary?
Just a couple of updates since the memo was sent in for the agenda packet. On the transmission main, the contractor is moving along. Yesterday they laid almost 1,500 feet of pipe, so it was a big day for them. Lift station D, we had a progress meeting on that this morning, where they're working on their submittals and getting those turned in. We responded to some submittals yesterday, so we're going to issue notice to proceed, and they'll mobilize on that one March 9th. So we'll have all the submittals done by then, and they'll have material on the ground. At the wastewater treatment plant, earthwork has been done. They've done the excavation and backfilling, and we have the treatment plant submittal. We're reviewing that. Should respond to that by the end of the week with any comments that we have. That one's moving forward, we've been working with PEC on that one also to get, permanent power out there, so we'll be having a pre-construction meeting with PEC probably within the next month or so to get that worked through. And then the final update, on the railroad permit for lift station D, we received a response from them yesterday that it's going through licensing, and then that'll go to Mike and hopefully be on either the council meeting at the end of the month or the first one in March to get it approved by council. And that's the last step in permitting, to be able to get that force main installed.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you. 3.5, utility department report, monthly activity. Adam?
We had 6 water leaks this month. We did have 1 leak on the force main in Blue Meadows. Completed 70 work orders, pumped roughly 13.1 million gallons of water. The guys put out 6 tons of asphalt. Trying to hit all the potholes from the winter storm. I'm sure we still have some to go, but they're trying to knock those out. We're starting to replace all the street signs, the actual name itself, and putting some breakaway bases. They got 70%, I would say, of the north side of town complete, except for some little trouble areas. We gotta go back and get those. We did lose another employee, so now we're down two guys there. Overall, during the winter storm, we did good. We held up. We didn't have a whole lot of big issues. We ran a lot of water for a lot of customer leaks, but tanks kept up and we did good. Inspections, Highway 29 water line job is near complete. They have a tie-in scheduled for tomorrow. They pass samples and pressure tests, all that. They have to do cleanup and stuff like that. But water line's almost ready to go on. It's active. New manhole's been put in. They still got a little bit of work there too, but they're getting close.
Thank you. 3.6, current financial status of the city. Georgina?
For the month of January 2026, in the general operating accounts, there's $3,594,135.07. In the utility or enterprise funds, $24,407,031.13, for a combined total of $28 million. $1,166.20. The number seems awfully big to me for whatever reason. But yes, that's what we have.
Thank you.
Most of which that is reserved.
Any questions?
Not on this, but can I go back and say something? I should have said earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt. For Ted, Mr. Reynolds, our code enforcement officer, I could see a big improvement and things happening around town. I want to say thank you. I see a lot of cleanup, a lot of people involved and interested. I even have some friends driving through town asking me what's going on. And I said, there's a new sheriff in town, so you better watch out. So I want to thank you for the job you're doing.
Thank you, that was a good comment. It took you that long to think of it?
Well, I had to write that down.
Appreciate it. Action items, 4.1, discuss and consider fiscal year ending September 2025 financial audit. This is what we did last.
Yeah, he presented it, but we didn't actually, in doing the minutes, I was like, wait a minute, we didn't actually make a motion to accept that audit. So therefore there was no action taken on the previous minutes. that we just approved. So we just need to.
It wasn't an agenda.
No, it was an agenda item.
So we just need to accept it.
You just didn't make a motion on it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the September 2025.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, all those in favor? 4.2, discuss and consider conditional use permit application from Kelly Ellett for property located at 107 East Vaughn Street to operate a tattoo parlor, Lucid Fine Art and Tattoos, ordinance number 261-021026. An ordinance of the City Council of Bertram, Texas, granting a conditional use permit for tattoo parlor by Lucid Art and Tattoos at 107 East Vaughn Street, Unit A, and providing for an effective date. Is anyone present for that?
It's right across the street. You guys for the, right across the street.
Nobody's here. Mike, do I have to read the whole ordinance?
No.
Yeah, okay. Good luck. I wasn't going to.
Okay, good.
So
If you guys
that-
remember a while back, we added conditional use permit, to tattoo parlors, by amending that section of the ordinance that makes it a requirement to allow it in commercially zoned areas with a conditional use. This is how you get it, the permit approved.
Anybody have anything?
No, well, I'll make a motion, we accept, the conditional use permit for the tattoo parlor.
I'll say. Motion and second, all those in favor?
I'm having a real hard time understanding who's seconding it because they sound so much alike over there.
How do you?
You want them to stand up?
Well, no, if you would say their name, that would be helpful.
We'll do that. 4.3. Discuss and consider my request to amend the zoning map to allow mixed use along Bond Street from FM 243 to 1174. So, basically we have a downtown district, Bond Street, and I've been approached by several people that want to build mixed use properties. For example, the building behind you, just as an example, it's a 2-story building. If there's a shopping downstairs and a living upstairs, or an Airbnb where someone can come stay there, walk across the street to the Globe Theater for a show, dinner, and everything's here. So it's been brought up by several people. So I thought it would be a good
So
addition to Bertram.
Airbnbs, we have an ordinance for short-term
Correct,
rentals,
but-
which are, you can do it citywide, doesn't have to be in a commercially zoned area. This specifically will allow for mixed use in certain areas, and Gary did a real good job of putting together the map. The reason why it's before you is because it's gonna be a cost involved with sending notification out to 300-foot radius of everyone outlined in pink. So within a 300-foot radius of everything in pink. So we estimated the postage to be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 to get this project going in that direction. I wanted council to be aware, and before we move forward, and before we do the work on sending all these letters out, if everybody's on board with that amount of, it's gonna be a big change. I'm not for or against it, I'm just saying there's gonna cost to be involved. And do I think it's a great idea for downtown? Yes. But there is a cost involved. Cause there's gonna be a lot of notification that needs to happen.
So the notifications are just going out to the people,
And they're
it's
certified
gonna
mail.
affect the radius around there. Okay.
So everyone within a 300-foot radius of that dotted red line will be notified that there's gonna be a potential zone change for mixed use in the downtown area. Just so you guys are aware. You know, public hearings will have to happen and all that good stuff. And then there's gonna be an ordinance drafted and all that good stuff. So it's probably, cause the amount of notifications that we need to get out, probably won't happen on the 24th meeting, it's gonna be the March meeting. But I think we can get it done.
So, do we, is it an action item or? is
Yes,
it just
I would need a
move
motion.
forward?
To expend that money for, yeah, right?
Or just to direct staff to move forward with the
Yeah.
creation of the mixed use.
I'll make a motion that we direct staff to go forward with the mixed use.
I'll second the
We
motion.
have a motion by Jim and a second by Anthony. All those in favor? And that passes. 4.4, discuss and consider water and sewer tap request from Robert and Stephanie Wilkes for property located at 300 County Road 258. That's one tap. Is anyone present for that? So this is, basically in Sunset Oaks. It is right behind the new development that's going in, the village. So they're requesting a tap. Gary's notes, you got them in front of you, but the basic stuff, request annexation, request, pay all the fees, of course, and then, water rights.
My concern with annexation is those roads aren't gonna be annexed in, and they're not up to city codes, and once we annex it in, we have to put together a, service, what's it called, service what we're gonna provide as far as services go, essentially fire protection, all those things. Can our PD get down that road safely and not tear up the vehicle? I don't know that. I've never been down that road. But,
It's gonna be paved up to that corner of that property.
It doesn't go that far.
The-
Yeah, it just goes to the main entrance of the village, so they're around the corner.
Yeah, so
further,
a little further.
there's concern there. We won't be able to provide the services that we currently provide to everyone else inside the city limits if our police department can't get to them as well. So there's that concern, so we need to be aware of that.
Have you ever responded to Sunset Oaks?
Yes, sir. It, there's a lot of times it gets pretty dicey out there, and the roads are in such disrepair that last time I came off out of that area, everything that's mounted on my window is down on the dash. When it rains, it's might as well be
Now-
a sheet of ice.
Understand that this is not coming from that direction. This is
Yes,
coming from
by the school.
by the school.
Yeah, that road in particular is rough.
And it's not that far down.
Right. It's manageable. It's just rough. I usually send the pickups versus the Explorers when something happens down there.
The other concern that we
And
have
can
is.
we voice those concerns with the property owner, and is there anything
You can,
we
but
can have an agreement?
you can do an annexation agreement that would, because what you have to do is you have to set a timeline if we're gonna annex by when we're going to offer all services that the city offers. Which, obviously we just view utilities and police since we don't operate, ESD operates the fire department. So we could give them a timeline, or we could say that if you do X, then we can do that, then we will do it by such a day, we could do that.
Okay.
But we do have to give them a timeline by when we'll provide the services.
The other concern I had is for the utility department, and I'm just airing these concerns so that everyone on council is aware, is the meter where we would probably place it is at the rear of the property, because that's where the, closest connection would be, is to the rear of the property. We don't maintain easements, and then throughout the years, people put up fences. I know that there's an issue, Adam's shaking his head over there because he sees it all the time. There's issues with, on County Road 320,
All the county roads.
334, where the easements are maintained, they're in the rear of the property, it becomes an issue with changing out the meters, pulling a meter for disconnection, if the meter goes bad, changing it out. There is some concern there that we need to really consider and address.
So when they applied for this, were any of these addressed to them at the time?
No, that's what I'm saying.
So I make a recommendation that we table this, give staff time to bring all these concerns to the property owner and see if they wanna move forward.
So is that a motion?
That's a
Okay.
motion. I can motion.
Yeah, you can motion.
I made that motion and Jim seconded. All those in favor? That way we don't waste any of our time or theirs.
James.
Sorry. Would you rather we go by James or Jim?
Don't know.
4.5, discuss and consider redistribution of police department position funding. So, a while back, the police department leadership and myself got together, and this was discussed with Mayor Dickinson prior. But we looked at basically getting the police department up to compete with our neighbors. We're currently paying $54,000 annually for a police department, and they can go down the road to Burnett, make 70, and Libertyville make 73. It's hard to retain and recruit quality applicants. So this was one way that the PD proposed that we could do it. So the PD gave a proposal, and I came up with a couple of different options. So bear with me here, I'm looking for something.
Question while he's looking. If I recall, we had a surplus in the budget last year, correct? Fiscal year? When we, yes, no,
So when you say a surplus, what exactly are you meaning by a surplus?
extra money?
Extra money for what reason? Obviously, we have an emergency fund. Obviously, we have unrestricted funds that are not currently accounted for in our budget for spending as an expense.
Well, when the departments don't use the money that they're given, does that go into one of those funds?
No, well, it just stays there in the coffers. It's not redistributed to expend the next
Okay.
year.
But we have a rainy day or whatever the
We
two.
do have a rainy day fund, yes, sir.
Okay, do we have enough in there for this year to fund this 10,400 without cutting their salary?
Without cutting.
Without, or by going with the PD proposal?
Well, let me go with something.
Yeah, let
All right.
him explain,
Okay,
cause that 10,000 is already in there earmarked.
So the Bertram Police Department currently has budgeted staffing of 6 patrolmen, 1 lieutenant, and 1 chief. 2 of the patrolman positions are open at this time. One of those has been open for 2 years. So it's been open for 2 years, probably for a reason. The discussion with the chief and I, we believe that in order to maintain and attract a high quality police force, we need to bridge the gap between our salaries and our neighbors. We plan to accomplish this by dissolving the 1 open patrolman position that's been open for 2 years and taking that salary and redistributing amongst our current force in that 1 open patrolman position that's been open for a few months. They've also asked for a clerical assistant, somebody that can help the PD, evidence reporting, all that stuff. We actually have a position that we've been advertising for that. The problem is it's a $15 an hour position and we have gotten 0 interest. So we already have the perfect candidate for that position. Our court clerk that works in here could fill that position, I think, flawlessly. And the intent behind that position, they're gonna work half here and half at the PD, getting the evidence and the reporting aspect down. What that's gonna do for the PD is give them more time to be out on the streets instead of having to deal with the evidence room, the reporting. And I said we have 6 patrolman positions, a lieutenant and a chief. Bertram doesn't have the luxury of having an administrative chief or a lieutenant. We need y'all on the streets. So in giving a clerk over there, I expect y'all to be out on the streets. Run patrols, pulling people over. I want y'all to get involved in that. So what I did with my proposal is I took the difference in the $15 an hour and $20 an hour position was $10,400. I took that out of that salary position for now. And then obviously going forward, we're gonna, with the budget, half of it will come from the PD, half will come from us.
I was under the impression that we've already contributed our half whenever during the budget, Regina and Mayor Dixon and I, we dissolved the detective position. When I say dissolved it, the added money to it was to go towards an administrative assistant.
There is that position is earmarked, half of it's coming out of the general fund, half of it is
For
coming out of,
future.
currently in our budget, in the current budget. There is at $15 an hour. He's saying the difference.
Yeah, the difference
The
is what I'm
difference is
saying.
going to increase it because it's not gonna be a $15 an hour position, it's gonna be
Does that make sense?
a $21 an hour person doing it.
It does. I wasn't sure if you were aware that we were already contributing.
Right, for future budgeting going forward, what I'm saying is, it was earmarked for a $15 an hour position. You're fixing to get a $20 or $21 an hour position. So, that was the way I fixed that problem. Now, if you look at your proposals, you have in front of you, it basically brings, the first one I did, I just took your logic, what I got from leadership and just divided the remainder after 10,400 and divided it by 7 is what God gave me. spread load, that brings our patrolman up to $62,162. 2 hours will make it 52, so that's a significant increase, almost $10,000. My second proposal, I'm a firm believer in leadership sometimes has to take a hit to take care of the people that you lead. So my second proposal, I took that 10,400 and just divided it from the top 2 leadership positions. Therefore, it basically gave every patrolman an extra $1,000. So those were what I came up with. And I think that increase, it's not gonna put us on par with Vernon, Liberty Hill. We also don't have the tax base that Vernon and Liberty Hill does. But what it will do is make it a little more comfortable to work here in Bertram, Texas. And I'm gonna have the same conversation with the other departments, but you can't expect to make the same kind of money in Bertram. What you can get is the intangibles of why it's a good thing to work for Bertram, Texas. You know, and I've said it, I need full buy-in on this. If you get these raises that these guys are fixing to vote on, I need full buy-in. I need you to care about this town and the other reason for working here in Bertram. So, but I think this pay raise will make that more palatable. So that's my intent behind it.
Well, as far as buy-in, you have buy-in. I have one of my guys actually moved from South Austin here into town. Everybody's here, wants to be here. You're right, this will make us more attractive to potential candidates, because right now we can go to the police academies and just get laughed out of there. Because I'm gonna offer you a position and they're gonna offer me $30,000 more. It's completely ridiculous. And by you saying us need to be working command staff, I absolutely agree with it. By having Connie there, one thing that it'll do for us is when we have to do video downloads, that stuff takes hours. And they have to be constantly monitored. Our equipment is at best antiquated, so it needs to be newer and brought up system. So that will give us more time to, it'll give me more time, it'll give Lieutenant Bolt more time to focus on his investigative stuff that he has to do. Instead of, right now he's doing a little bit of everything, patrolman. That's why he needs a raise out of this before I do.
Council, so, this only works with Connie being over there because the court has slowed down so much. So I'm gonna be very clear that if the court gets busy and tickets and citations start coming in that occupy Connie's time, she may not be available long-term. This is a short solution for the time being while she's not busy.
But I also want y'all to use common sense, and if she has a heavier workload over here, you send her over here, and vice versa.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just, for right now, she's caught up, she's got things she can do, and she's available to work over there, but at some point she may need to come back over here and
So at
keep
that
it going.
At that point there, are we back to the $15 an hour person, or is Connie still doing?
Possibly, but
We'll have to
I
look
think
at-
I can do it. But like I said, and y'all need common sense in this too. If you know her workload's heavier here, it doesn't have to be 50-50 is what I'm telling you. So y'all figure that out. And she's willing, by the way. I asked her before I even threw her name.
She's already working over there. I've asked her as well. So what proposal are you proposing? Proposal 1 or 2, John? For these numbers?
Another question, just to help me out. What do we need to do to keep the PD proposal? What needs to happen? Or am I in left field here somewhere? I understand 1 and 2, where the money came from and so forth, but keep the first one. What happens? Where do we go? What do we need to do?
Give them $10,400.
Okay, then
So I don't know where you got 10,400, cause.
I did $5.
$5 an hour
$5
times
an hour
40
times-
hours times 52
Oh,
weeks. So, do we have that somewhere so we don't have to play with the numbers or take money away from them to keep them where they are? That we could move from somewhere else to here?
Now, let me go back to this. So, the budget's coming up, a new budget year is coming up. This is a quick fix for today, so we can get this done, move forward. Future budgeting, we'll look at Connie's position and everything else. But this is a solution to get it done now.
And to be fair, the PD as well as everyone else got substantial raises during the fiscal year of passing of this current budget. So everyone got a substantial raise, including everybody in the PD. This will get them more in line, closer to what other departments are, so they can bring in a new hire at 68,000 versus the 52.
52.
Yeah, at the 62,000, or 63,000 is the proposal too. Which is a good starting rate for the size of our department.
Does that help us with retainage?
I didn't hear you, sir.
Does that help with retainage?
It would help, it'll definitely help with retention. And as well as prospective candidates.
We
Because
have to
I-
figure out
well-
which one we wanna use.
You need a motion for something?
I mean, eventually, yes.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to go with proposal 1 to meet in the middle, and new budget's coming up to help.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
I just had a question.
Back up. We got a question.
In that first proposal, there's no money for the clerk.
Correct. There's
So where's
not.
that gonna come from?
So your proposal, you're doing mayor proposal 1.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
I thought you
Mayor.
said PD.
Yeah, cause he said
No,
proposal 1.
I didn't say the word mayor.
Yeah.
Mayor proposal 1.
Right.
I'll say.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? And that passes.
Did you vote?
I make proposals.
So you're,
You can still vote.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No, 4.7, discuss and consider easement question, as you were, sorry, that's a marine term, as you were. 4.6, discuss and review sign ordinance and possible amendments to fee schedule on signage. So, we never really had this problem before because no one was checking things. Now that we have a code enforcement officer, we're finding, some of our ordinances that don't exactly make sense. So what I told Ted to do is kind of go through them and see where the big headaches are that he's running into and seeing how we can make those better. So one of those is sign ordinance for here downtown, well, not just downtown, but all over.
And it's the temporary signs that we're looking at too, the A-frames, the E-frames.
Ted, you wanna stand up and talk?
Okay. What we're talking about is the portable temporary signs, the A-frames, the P-frames, the E-frames, and the sandwich board style. Start again.
yeah.
Okay, what we're talking about is the A-frames, T-frames, V-frames, and the sandwich board style, which are temporary ones. What I have found those in the right-of-ways, which is against city codes and state codes. Right now, they can, according to code, they can only have them, look here for it now. Basically for a couple, 30 days per permit. Right now, those permits are $30 a month. And then again, they can only have it for 4 months in a year. What I'd like to see is that we have one low permit fee or none at all, depending on what you guys wanna do on that, and have it for a whole year. And then that they have to also get permission from the property owner in writing to have it on someone else's property. That way they can put their sign, cause these small businesses need these signs to help pull in traffic from 29. Without them, a lot of them, no one will even know they're here. So that's my recommendation.
What section you just, what section are you talking about?
I'd have to pull it back up.
Give me just a second. Okay.
So currently our sign ordinance does say no off-site signage permitted in the ordinance, so that would need to be corrected for one. And then the other would be, signage on sidewalks and in public right of way, especially in text dots. Text dot doesn't want anything in their right of way, so especially on Highway 29, that's gonna be an issue. If you move forward with allowing that in text dots right of way, you can't do that. So,
I wouldn't recommend in right of ways, cause that's against state code and. So,
yeah. But that's essentially where they're putting them, if they're wanting to pull traffic off of 29. So I don't know if that's gonna fix it, if you can't amend it.
Well, private property.
It would have to be on the private property.
Correct.
And where they're currently placing them is not, is what I'm saying.
Who?
You're probably talking about the library.
Yeah, we've
The
got
thrift store.
quite a bit
That's in
of
text dot right
along
away.
the right of way 29,
Hmm.
which we need to pull back.
If I wanted to put a sign in that lot behind the library
That would be
on
fine.
private
As long as
property,
they have the property
you got
owner's
written
permission.
owner's permission, that would be fine.
It just has to be out of text dot right.
Yeah, and with Highway 29 being so close to that library, it's gonna be real hard for them. But where they're currently placing them is in text dots right away. So they would be in violation of that.
So,
That's not gonna fix the problem,
Section
is what I'm
6, definitions, regulations for specific types of signs, under, I'll just use banners for example, G, that's what he's talking about. The duration may be permitted not more than 4 times a year for a maximum of 30 days for each instance. 30-day separation between periods of display is required. A single temporary banner sign may be permitted as the interim permanent sign for a new business for up to 60 days.
Most of these fall under Article, 3.05.
Okay.
That's,
I have a question. Is, the visitor center sign that they have for the Chamber of Commerce visitor center, is that within?
That one's
Text
the
dot?
permanent one, is it not? It's actually planted in the ground. That's a different type, that's a permanent sign. Talk about
And it's not
temporary.
in
Yeah, I'm
text dots
just-
right away.
It's not.
That one is not, it's right up against their property line, but it's not, cause
Yeah.
that one is a permitted sign.
Well, we're talking about like the one, that's out by the library, or the thrift shop.
Bristol.
It's an
That's a
A-frame.
temporary one, that's, yeah, like what they also have at, I just lost the name of the mercantile, Magpie, yeah. She has a key frame type one, that she'd like to have up on some personal property along Highway 29. Cause she originally had it on, basically on the sidewalk of 29, which is right away. So we just need to be able to get them. So, and the way it is right now with no off-sites, they're pretty much out of luck.
I just think we need to make these make sense. I mean, we're in a weird time in our growth. We're mixing the old with the new. The old was built right on the highway, and there's nothing we can do about that. But if we can make it better for the businesses that are in downtown, I'd like to do that. And we can also do that with, the code enforcement side of it.
And I can work with Ted on this, but I would just say from other experiences that I've seen is The reason you don't allow offsite signs is then you got a piece of property and they'll have 20 signs.
Correct.
on
And,
their
and there's,
property, and so that's,
I looked at that too.
Yeah.
There is some stuff in our ordinance. There's only a certain number allowed,
okay,
and we can actually put that in. Ted and I talked about that.
okay, good.
Like off-site, you can only have 2 signs or something like that.
Alright, and then I've seen them also where people like put them in the back of a pickup truck and set them up there, and then that blocks
Yeah.
vision on the highways and things along that line.
That is
so-
actually against our city code to have them on vehicles.
Okay. Even if they're parked in a parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, good, alright.
And to me, there's a fine line, cause I'm one of those, if it's my property, I'll do what I want. So I understand when people get upset, but at the same time, it's gotta make sense. So I wanna meet in the middle here and make it make sense. So I don't know if we need a motion today, but
Yeah, I like a
Just a
motion, the
to,
direction the council's given staff on what to bring back to them.
Obviously, it's not gonna be the ordinance itself, he's gonna have to draft that up, so.
Right.
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 I might make a motion that we direct city staff attorney with Ted's help, to move forward with the proposal on making our sign ordinance more user-friendly,
Particularly with regard to off-site signs.
off-site
Temporary.
and permitting cost.
Okay.
So,
I'll second all that.
we have a motion and a second by Anthony. All those in favor? Four point seven, discuss and consider easement question from Burnett Hill LLC for property located at 2900 County Road 330. 4.8, discuss and consider demand for compensation letter from Sonia Munford and George Munford for property located on County Road 330. And 4.9, discuss and consider city's permitted water supply and expansion of water and sewer systems and supply options. The City Council of the City of Bertram reserves the right to adjourn into executive session at any time during the course of this meeting to discuss any matters listed on this agenda, as authorized by the Texas Government Code, section 551.071. Consultation with attorney.
And we do have on all 3 items.
Time is 12:50. Let's go to executive session.
Remember how to make this.
Bring your pictures.
What did he say to mute?
We just need to figure out how to word it, right, what to modify what's there. Right. Yeah. And I'm still thinking through and rereading and going, okay, that's not quite how I read it the first time.
Those mics are still live, y'all. So I don't wanna turn it off. Be careful what we say. So I don't want it to turn it off. Okay.
Like it's
Yeah, it does smell good.
Damn. Gee, that cheap. Yes. Whew. You know, it smells good. Bring that up around.
I do that only on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Gee. Thank you, honey.
Yes.
That's some of these,
Right.
Appreciate y'all hanging out.
Hungry.
Damon, do we need to start that? Did
It's
you
ready to go now. Let's go, sorry.
Alright, so items 137, I call this meeting back in session. 4.7, don't need anything. 4.8, don't need anything. 4.9, do not need anything.
That's good.
Future agenda items.
Hey, Mike, we'll bring that
Oh,
up.
so it was brought to my attention by Lieutenant Bo that the racial profiling does actually have to be voted on. And unfortunately, on this agenda, it is not included as an action item. However, it is on the agenda, so the general public would have known that this would be part of the discussion. So if the council wanted to move forward and take a vote, then I wouldn't necessarily have an objection, and then we could clean it up at a later meeting, because it has to be submitted by March 3rd.
Well, we have a meeting February 24th.
Okay, so, or we can just go ahead and put it on the February 24th as an action item.
Yeah.
Okay,
All of our
so we'll get it
numbers-
done by March 3rd.
All of our racial profiling numbers are in there. And all it is for the state to say that we're current, and we're showing y'all what our racial profiling stats are.
So the language is that it has to be approved by the governing body for the,
So we just need a
Entity.
motion to approve it.
correct, and since we have a meeting on the 24th, as long as we're gonna have a meeting on February 24th, we can just do it then.
They gonna give you enough time to get it in?
Yes,
It's in, right? This is it?
yes.
Yeah, I just have to send it to the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
get
mean,
it.
to the state.
Yes.
So I have to upload it into their state computer system, but yes, I can get it done in 7 days.
Alright, let's do that. Let's wait till February 24th.
Alright, good.
Anything else?
We're gonna bring back the sign ordinance, proposal, right?
Yes.
And then,
The water tap.
and then the zoning change, but that'll be in the
That'll
March.
be in the March meeting.
Wait, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion, you got a second by Randall. All those in favor? Alright, this meeting is adjourned.